The Toy Story franchise is one of the most iconic franchises of all time and is still relevant to this day. That's because it still appeals to many younger generations and will still speak to younger generations for years to come. However, amongst those generations, there's always been one key debate within those generations, and that is which Toy Story movie is the best. Let us know your thoughts, as Toy Story 2 for me is the greatest Toy Story movie out of the whole franchise. Do you know why? Simply for the fact that it is very difficult to build on top of what they already did in Toy Story 1. But they didn't just meet the expectation and the legacy of what the previous movie left behind. It went up and above that, in my personal opinion, and smashed the movie out the park with new, really cool themes, really new coming stories. And I think this is how you do a movie sequel done right. Speaking of movie sequels not done right, just to give you a comparison of how legacies aren't easy to replicate, just look at Cars. Cars, for instance, Cars 1 was an absolutely fantastic Disney Pixar movie. Cars 2 was nowhere near its predecessor's standards and is shit until this day because it never reached the levels that it ever should have done.
Didn't screw you up, did I? I lost the race because of you!
So it's much harder to do it than it actually looks for Toy Story, which they managed to do it not once, but twice with Toy Story 3 as well.
Okay, fine. Perfect.
This movie also helps and goes in further detail on how toys are used and viewed. From the first one, they were mainly toys. They came into the family, they were to be played with, and then you saw Sid using them to damage them and take out his frustration on them. In this particular movie, we're seeing different ways that toys are presented, because we're seeing them as prizable assets still, and that they can be used for toy collectors, which Al picks up on as he picks Woody up in the yard sale and takes him so that he can take him back to his collection and then sell it on for a large sum of money. We also get to see how toys are presented when they're damaged and that they get thrown away, or if they're still in good nick, they get sold on again for a profit. We're seeing that side of things. And for me, that was a different way of presenting that and seeing the feelings of those characters going through those moving on from where they currently are for the first time. But now we're seeing broken toys get thrown away and seeing the feelings of that, and that goes through Woody's mind about the feelings of being thrown away, and that scares him. And all that sort of stuff really, really was fantastic and genius, and something that I didn't realize you needed, but when it's there and you see the feelings of them even being put into storage, you see Jesse's face, I'm not going back into storage, I hated it. Those sorts of feelings you never think about as a kid putting away your toy. You know what I mean? It's just mental, but it's something that was genius and deep in a different sort of fashion to what we saw in Toy Story 1. And something else which is pretty genius, which never gets talked about, is how Buzz basically reacts to other versions of himself.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I'm Buzz Lightyear.
I also feel that seeing how Woody was so conflicted whether he was wanting to be a toy or wanting to be a collector's item and sit in a museum was something that he was trying to get his head round, because at first when he got kidnapped by Al at the toy sale after he tried to save another toy and gets taken back to Al's thing and he's damaged and he gets repaired, he wants to leave immediately. But he gets talked out of it. Stinky Pete, the prospector, basically turns around and goes, "Are you sure you want to leave? Because if you end up leaving, right, Andy might end up breaking you again like he already previously did. You might also be the reason why Jesse and myself and Bullseye go back into storage. Do you really want that to happen?" As Stinky Pete is technically the antagonist in this movie, I like Stinky Pete because he's not the typical Disney villain like you see sometimes, like a Scar, Maleficent, where it's so obvious, oh my god, they're the villain. This one's more of a sneaky villain which reveals himself as the villain towards the back end of the film when he admits that he was one who turned the telly on that night that he was planning to escape Al's apartment and leave and never look back. But he turned the telly on, alerting Al, and he woke up and he never knew who turned that telly on that particular night. But however, the prospector jumped out of his box, which he shouldn't have done, and did that so that Woody couldn't escape and that the collection could be saved. And then all the way through the film was coaxing Woody into staying. He was a villain. He just really wanted to be put into like a collection, and to basically get out of wherever they were at that time. And I think I didn't mind him as a villain, but if you turn around and say who's the better villain out of like Sid and all the other, and Lotso and Stinky Pete, I'd probably put him towards the bottom end. And something else which is absolutely brilliant is the outtakes for Toy Story 2. If anybody's seen those, they're brilliant, and they should definitely bring those back for future Disney Pixar projects.
What? What's so funny? Woody!
The ending was a little bit like Mission Impossible of sorts, because it didn't really feel like, oh, this is a Toy Story movie anymore, because now we're jumping out of a moving fucking plane. That is mental, but you know what? I was all for it, because this movie goes from left to right, every different direction that you could possibly imagine, goes over different storylines and stuff like that. It's really deep, and on the basis of things, it's just a fun-loving animation movie and one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. And this, my friend, is how you do a movie sequel done right, living up to its previous standards. And really, I think that this is what all the animation movies going forward, sequel-wise, should look like, because they should be able to not only build on the legacy of the previous movie, but go above and beyond. Before we jump back into this video, guys, please do us a massive favour and smash that subscribe button, because you do not want to miss a thing this week, next week, and the week after, because we've got tons and tons of content planned for you guys, and you can do us a massive favour by smashing that subscribe button, joining the community, getting updates to all the latest videos, from the YouTube shorts to the actual videos. It is well worth it, completely free, and you will not regret it. So to summarise Toy Story 2, this is easily a 9.5 out of 10 and a legendary film. Let us know your thoughts of this movie down those comments down below. What are your thoughts? Good, bad, terrible, amazing? Let us know all that jazz down those comments down below. And if you haven't yet seen our Toy Story movie review, check that out right now.